Gees. They sold over 150 million albums worldwide. He's going to be talking to us about the Bee Gees' compilation of love songs, which has just been released on CD. But before that, he's going to perform that classic track, How Deep Is Your Love? Please welcome Robin Gibb.
Robin Gibb! Robin, see you in a few moments. Do not go away.
Next week,
welcome back. We're here with Robin Gibb.
It's great having you here. It really is. You always welcome on a show. Yeah, well, obviously the Bee Gees is one of the most successful groups of all time. But after the sad loss of Morris, did you ever sort of think, maybe this is I don't want to do this anymore? Was there a moment?
Well, I think when Mo died, and it'll be 3 years in January for me, because he was my twin brother. And
Was it
three
twin
of us.
brother?
Yeah. And of course, the three of us have worked very closely for most of our lives, for writing and performing. So, in fact, we're like triplets in a way. So the loss has felt equally with the three of us. But writing and recording is something, you know, we're not just brothers. You know, we're colleagues, musical colleagues as well. We're bonded by that. And so, yeah, we keep going in respect for what Morris had worked for all his life, and also it's his legacy as well. So, but I don't think actually as the Bee Gees, but you know, maybe together, me and Barry, and writing and performing Bee Gees songs and working together. Whether or not we'll be the Bee Gees again, I don't know about that.
But if you had to work out a whole new routine of writing and a different approach to it, is that...
Well, yeah, it's that kind of academic writing, because it can actually take place in many kind of environments. You know, you can write on your own, you can write with someone, and you can have ideas on your own, come together and finish them off. So there was never really a formula.
Right.
So it's, you know, it's random.
This album, Love Songs, the Bee Gees' Love Songs, is that is that kind of another way of saying goodbye?
To Morris, you mean?
Yeah, the whole sort of that era of the Bee Gees.
Well, we can't be the Bee Gees as we were with Morris. Of course not. But I don't think it's really implying that at all. I just think it's just a collection of love songs that we've done throughout our career, and some of the best ones that we've done.
Yeah, it must have been emotional, though, picking the songs out, all those memories coming back, and
Yeah.
when you wrote them, maybe some funny times around that.
Yeah, I think the idea of just having it is just a collection, really, of some of the best love songs that we've done, and particularly with Morris. And I think from that point of view, it's really what it is. But I don't think it's really it's saying anything particular about, the Bee Gees.
But you are planning a tribute album, aren't you?
There'll be a tribute
Morris?
album
and
next year.
You're singing with a lot of different people: Paul McCartney, Beyonce, Elton John, Justin Timberlake. I mean, amazing.
Yeah,
Oasis.
Eric Clapton, Oasis. They're all going to be part. That's all going to come out in July, and it's all being done now.
Sounds
and Too Much
fantastic.
Heaven, which is what Paul did, is actually a charity record. It's made about 15 million for UNICEF already, because we gave the publishing of the royalties, of record royalties and publishing to UNICEF for the children of Africa. And it's made quite a lot of money. I mean, it's 15 million so far, and Paul's version will continue to make more money for the kids.
And will it be just Bee Gees songs this album?
Just Bee Gees songs, yeah.
What will Oasis be doing?
I'm not sure yet. I
intrigued.
think it's New York Mining Disaster, our very first single that they might be doing.
Let's talk about some of the things that you've been up to in the last couple of years.
Steady on.
Judge on Fame Academy. I'll be honest with you, Robert.
Be honest.
I got the feeling
Be brutal, Des.
Yeah, I got the feeling you were never completely comfortable.
Oh,
was
no.
Did you? Was it difficult for you when you had to criticise someone?
It was very hard, because being an artist and having to evaluate another artist, you've got to put yourself in their position, And also, I also feel as they do that, you're asked to do a different style of a song, and of course they may not do that style, and you can't evaluate an artist doing a different style than the one they're doing, or that they're going to make a career of. So yeah, and you don't want to criticise them just for the sake of the fact that they're on television as well. You've got to really, they're going to go home with what you say.
Yeah,
at the end of the day, and live with that, and and they're at a very tender age,
Well, Mr. Park used to get stuck in a bit.
He did, yes.
But have you watched any of the X Factor?
I've watched some of it, yes.
What do you think of it?
Yeah, I
Who
think
do
it's
you
good.
might win it?
I think it's good television.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I don't know how much of a career that a lot of these artists can have when it's over and done, because there's been so many of them now. I don't know whether that's going to be where the future of music's going to be.
I think they can have a career, but it is never going to have the longevity of someone that's been out there and worked and written songs. And
Yeah, I mean, you'd have to look at the last couple of years. People like James Blunt, for instance, have come up the last 3 years, never really, you didn't see them on Fame Academy, you didn't see them on X Factor or Pop Idol. So there are artists coming up that aren't going through those, that machinery. So, there are other ways that artists, and it's actually good news for people who look at Fame. That's the only way I can do it.
Yeah.
There are other ways.
Some of them will survive, like Will Young. Some of them
because
will.
that was the first one, yeah, that's right.
Is it just that, or he has that? I think he's got that little bit of extra talent.
Well, yeah, but just maybe, there was a collection of talent on that first one. They got it right. I mean, some of the American Pop Idol shows are really sticking. A tremendous worldwide success.
Now, you and your brothers have written some amazing songs for some major artists like Barbra Streisand and Celine Dion. And is there any particular ones that are your
Actually, the ones you
favourites?
mentioned, I loved Woman in Love. But that Barbra Streisand did. I liked Heartbreaker that Dionne Warwick did.
Isn't that right that I think you told me years ago, over a cup of tea or whatever, you said that you and the guys wrote 2 songs that were major hits in one afternoon?
Yes, that's right, yeah. There were actually 2 US #1s that we wrote in one afternoon.
In an afternoon?
Yeah.
Well, that's a
I
nice
think it was
afternoon.
I think it was Tragedy and Too Much Heaven we wrote between
gosh.
3 and 4 and 5 o'clock.
Well, you've written some
We wrote the words at night.
Yes.
We wrote the melodies in the
Oh, I see. So the whole song was... I'm pleased to hear it took you so long.
We had a cup of tea after, then we wrote the words.
Now, take that. They did a track of yours, the one that you just sang there, How Deep Is Your Love. And there's been a lot of covers of that song. There's one I want you to have a little listen of. And tell me what you think of this one.
I know your eyes in the morning sun. I feel you touch me in the pouring rain. And the moment that you wander,
I like this. I really like this.
This is the best version yet, isn't it?
Aww.
and you come to
You know who that is then, yeah?
I know it is.
We did that You and your brothers who came in the studio once we were doing Desert Contest Night, and you just got a guitar, and we just had a... Do you remember we had a jam session? And that ended up, and that was one of my prized possessions. I got to sing with the Bee Gees. It was fantastic. Absolutely wonderful.
I remember that night very well.
Yeah, it's good fun.
Now, you're on a solo tour at the moment.
Yeah,
and-
or BG on my own, as I like to say.
Is it strange being out there on your own? You're so used to a
Well,
group
you know, you've got a lot of
you.
people on stage with you as well, you know,
Yeah.
a band and
But
things.
you're out front.
You're out front, but you don't feel like you're carrying everything because there's some camaraderie on the stage that you had before. So there are times when you're with the Bee Gees, you're doing stuff on your own as well, as we all did. So.
I know you've got a gang of people, I don't know they travel with you, but that's part of having a group or with a group. You've got someone to josh with and having a giggle. Probably you get used to standing out there now again by yourself, but it's the fun, isn't it, the camaraderie?
And you see, when you get with groups like the Beatles and Fleetwood Mac, you'll see that they do things on their own within the show. When they're performing, so it's not always unusual to do stuff on your own. So
how is it? You remember the last time you were here? Two people had flown in. Do you remember this?
I
Two
do
people
remember.
had flown in from Tokyo
Yes.
to come and see Des Mel purely because you were on it.
yes, that's right.
I mean, that must give
it's
you
amazing.
Mine have a job getting in from Watford. So it's absolutely marvellous. I mean, is that, I assume, because you've been travelling all around the world, that Tokyo eventually gets on your list of
Well,
dates?
it does, yeah, and you do. You have fans in all places, and some places you don't even expect to have them in. You know, so.
Well, so where will Christmas find you?
In Tame, actually.
In where?
Where I live, near Oxford.
Is it going to be a family Christmas?
It's going to be a quiet family Christmas, I suspect. In my 1,000-year-old house, you know.
Yes, that's the spooky place, isn't it?
That's the one. Everybody's seen a ghost in there, but me, you see. But it's older than Westminster Abbey.
Do you drink?
No.
Oh, drink. You see the ghost.
I'll see the ghost. No, actually, I used to drink a lot. The hallucination saw me. You know. So that was even more frightening.
Well, listen, every success on the tour.
Thanks, Des.
Thanks for coming, and I'll probably see you in the Indian restaurant sometime. You know
Yeah.
what I'm
Thanks
talking
for
about.
coming in.
Robin,
Thank you.
Robin,
Robin
Kim.
Kim.
Robin Kim. Robin Kim. Top man. Right, that is our show for yet another week. Whiz by, didn't you? Just
It
absolutely
did.
whiz